Savor the Moment, a conversation with individuals successful in culinary arts and hospitality. On this edition, Bob Koshinski sits down with Bill Casale, Chief Operating Officer of the Pearl Street family of businesses, located in Buffalo, New York.
Bill, it's great to have you here at Savor Restaurant at the Niagara Falls Culinary Institute.
Thanks for having me.
You're a graduate of NCCC. Tell us a little bit about Bill Casale, how you got into the field and what you've been doing since.
Started very young looking for a job. Picked the restaurant field as a dishwasher. Learned that I got pretty acclimated quickly into the food industry. I started dabbling a little bit, became a breakfast cook, and then was named the banquet chef at Best Western in Niagara Falls, and then decided to further my culinary knowledge and take a course at NCCC.
We should mention your father has owned a tavern for many years, so was that what kind of piqued your interest?
I guessed a little bit. They owned a pizzeria in the 50s, and then they migrated over to the tavern and restaurant and motel on 69th Street. So yeah, I've been in the business my whole life.
Right now you're the Chief Operating Officer for Pearl Street Industries.
Yep.
And that includes Pearl Street on Pearl Street in downtown Buffalo. That's Riverworks on Ganson Street. And you also have the restaurant and the bar in the Lafayette Hotel, correct?
Yes, Lafayette Brewing Company. We also run the web building, Los on Pearl, next door to Pearl Street Grill and Brewery also.
And if we were to do this interview in another 6 months, there'd be another few businesses attached because you're part of a very growing corporation, aren't you?
I am. I'm very fortunate. I started with them 17 years ago in 2002. Where we just had Pearl Street on the ground floor. We've renovated all the floors above, building next door, then the Lafayette Brewing Company, and then Riverworks, and we continue to grow. When I started, I believe we had 47 employees. We now have 650 employees.
How has your job changed?
It's more mental, administrative worry than physical work, but it's definitely changed. I'm in charge of all departments, staffing, all the way from insurance to day-to-day operations. So it's changed over the years. It's a little more mental now.
It's mental now, but when you started out, you obviously must have had an affection for cooking and the culinary side of it. You won the Antonacci Award at the Como Restaurant back when you were a student. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, first ever Nick Antonacci Memorial Scholarship, 1990 or 89 was the first year. It was announced to us as a cooking competition. The winner would win a full ride through their collegiate activities. We took a pretty strenuous 8-hour day of competition at the culinary operation over at NCCC, and then I had no idea where I stood, but I got called down to the office and was announced that I won.
Do you remember what you made?
It was all areas of cooking. We had to present all different things, so it varied throughout the day. I don't remember what the final entree was, but we had to cook all courses. There was a cutting competition. We did some sugars and candies, things of that nature. It was pretty strenuous.
The culinary institution here has changed drastically from what it had been at the campus at Sanborn. Today you had a chance to walk around. What do you think?
First rate, top notch. It was very impressive to see the operations compared to what we had, 30 years ago. It's much more tremendous now. Very impressive, and it gives, I think, the students a great advantage, more so than when I went back in 89, 90.
We've had people walk through the facilities, and they're very impressed with the world-class. For Niagara, for a community college, and of course this is part of Niagara County Community College. To be in downtown Niagara Falls, I think a lot of people have yet to discover it.
I agree. I've lived in Niagara Falls my whole life, grew up in Niagara Falls, and I was unaware of all the facilities that are here. I think the word definitely needs to get out. There's phenomenal restaurants and a pastry facility here. So I definitely think that the locals need to get out a little bit more, venture downtown and see what they have to offer down here.
What are the pearls of advice that you usually give to students who are back as you were a student at this program?
Well, it's all about attitude. Attitude's going to determine your altitude. They'll give you the tools to get started, but you have to become a leader, and leadership to me is the most important part of it. I got named a banquet chef and then executive chef right out of culinary school when I was 20 years old, and at the time, and I'm sure it's equally as noted today, the Culinary Institute, which was Niagara CCC back then, was ranked number 2 in the state for culinary arts. So when a restaurateur in Akron, New York was looking for a chef. He had heard that instead of going to the CIA in New York City, he decided to stay local and went with the second-ranked culinary facility in the state, and that's how I got my first job, an executive chef at 20 years old, directly out of college.
Wow. And just like any position, any profession, being in the right place at the right time always helps, but having that background means something, because once you're given the opportunity, you have to prove that you can stay there.
Absolutely. They helped me get my foot in the door, but I had to, to sustain that and know what I was doing through a lot of hard work. I was executive chef there for 13 years and then got named the general manager at Pearl Street in 2002. So I did put in 13 hard years. I did learn a little bit more front of the house management through that tenure there. But again, it was very important to have that diploma, have that notoriety of the program, and that's what got my career started.
You still know your way around the kitchens?
A little bit. When I have to, I get in there. It's not my first love anymore because of all the other responsibilities I have. It's a lot to take on, both front and back of the house and all of operations. But every now and then I'll get back there. I cook at home a little bit.
You were involved, as you mentioned, with Pearl Street, and Pearl Street has been around for several decades. But Riverworks, and you have some new entities coming on board, and of course the brewery. I mean, it seems to me that it was right place, right time, because it's been part of the explosion on the waterfront for downtown Buffalo.
It has. There was some resilience there because Pearl Street, when it opened in '97, was wrong place, wrong time. So we had to fight our way through some hard times for several years. Then with the success of the Sabres through the '90s, that kind of catapulted us into more. We have a great ownership group that continues to reinvest. Right now, downtown Buffalo is turning around. I'd love to see Niagara Falls do the same thing. But there's a little bit of luck and hard work. I mean, our perseverance paid off. And again, with an ambitious ownership group, they continue to reinvest in downtown and reinvest every dollar they make into new entities and creating more jobs.
And Riverworks in particular is really a unique establishment. I mean, you've got outdoor, you've got indoor, you're on the water. Tell me a little bit more about Riverworks.
Riverworks evolved from 2 ice rinks to what it is today with it's a full entertainment complex. We needed a 4-season concept to sustain that operation. We were going to invest between $3 and $10 million into that property. I think we're into the 30 millions right now. So it evolved. We created a 4-season concept, and that's what you need to sustain a waterfront operation in Western New York. Many have come and gone, but you need more to do on the water in the winter, and that's what we were able to do with roller derby and concerts and creating a mini convention center there.
Well, what kind of host would we be if we didn't offer Bill Casale a sampling of what's on the menu here at the Savor Restaurant? And for that, let's throw it to Mark Mastriner.
Thanks, Bob. I'm Mark Mastriner, Assistant Vice President of Academic Affairs here at Niagara Falls Culinary Institute. I'm with Chef John Pope at Savor Restaurant, and John's getting ready to prepare a dish for Mr. Bill Casale. Chef, what dish are you making today?
So today I'm making a pork Milanese, which is going to be a pan-fried pork cutlet with an arugula salad with tomato, pickled shallots, some cucumber, and a Parmesan dressing. Very light and refreshing.
Well, you just saw this dish prepared, the pork Milanese. And Bill Casale, it's in front of you. It certainly looks delicious.
Looks wonderful.
You want to take a sample?
Sure.
And this is just one of the dishes that you can enjoy down here at Savor Restaurant on Old Fall Street in downtown Niagara Falls, part of the Niagara Falls Culinary Institute. And Bill Casale, who started out as a chef, an award-winning chef, is taking a little bite. It sure looks tender and it looks good.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Bill, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. Bill Casale, the Chief Operating Officer for Pearl Street Industries. And Bill, you've come a long way, and it's so good to have you back here at this facility to see how far the program has come.
That's awesome. I really appreciate it, and I wish the program nothing but the greatest success.
Okay. That'll take care of it for this edition of Savor the Moment. See you next time.